Hello, 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 everybody listening to the podcast. This is a change of pace right here. Not used to hearing this voice, aren't you? Well, welcome to and welcome back to Roughly a Quarter. This is episode 6, and you got the usual
No, it's
4,
not.
but we gotta do the quick
Wait,
introduction as per usual. So, firstly, we got our good old friend Ronan J. Thompson. Okay, sounds good. Now we got the Doom Derpero J-Man Meister here.
Hey, how's it going, lads?
lads.
Nice. And then we
Nice.
got everyone's favorite dude, Sean Dude.
I am. Oh, that's really sweet. Hello.
Yeah, very wholesome. And of course, yours truly, Alex Sipicorn here. So, what have you guys... Jesus Christ. What have
Here
you
we
guys
go, here
been
we
doing?
Here we go. It's
Here
already
we
gone.
go.
It's already gone.
What have
Here
you
we
guys
go.
been doing? What have you guys been doing?
I don't know. What in like general or recently or 2 minutes
I mean,
ago?
I don't know.
Um,
Just anything fun,
as of
like
now,
in the
I'm
past few
recording
days?
the podcast.
Nice one,
Oh,
Jimmy.
really?
Hey, I
Nice
was
one,
asked what
Jinming.
was I doing, right? I'm doing the podcast right now, so
Well, if you want something recent, I did some Beat Saber this afternoon. It's not
Wait,
much of like
Wait, do you have a VR?
exercise or
Do you have a
sport,
VR
but
headset?
yeah, I got the PSVR.
Flex,
It's fun and all, but it
flex.
doesn't. Okay, what is not flex, dude? Chill out. But it's the closest thing I got to doing sports. It's been ages since I've done actual sports.
hey,
How about
don't
you
don't
guys?
blame me.
Yeah.
With this pandemic going on, what sports can we do?
Well, I mean, not only that, but like, let's think about it this way: who are the people that we play sports with the most, right? Like, who are the people out of our group who are wanting to play the most sports? One was in the UK for the first 6 months of the year. One was in Australia for the first 6 months of the year. Actually, no, 3 were in the UK for the first 6 months of the year. They kind of haven't been around to play sports, So, like, you can't really... It's kind of obvious why,
I mean, there is esports, but that's like it's different. And we were talking about like good exercise or something, but there's esports if you want to like break it down to its core. I mean, like esports. What do you guys think about it? I mean, if that's the
If it-
mentality we're going for,
if it
then
were-
why is it not in the
If
Olympics?
esports was like sports, I'd lose like 5 billion kilos right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, what? But I mean, like, who said sports had to be like? I don't know. Not physically
Like,
demanding,
I
but
don't
like,
know. It's like who said sports had to be about losing weight and really physical and stuff? You know what I mean?
No one said.
I
don't
mean,
think-
bloody who should like? I watch darts for half the people who play darts for the sport are like 40-year-old beer bellied white guys.
True.
True.
Then
But people say
Then what
darts
the
is a sport.
what defines a sport?
What defines a sport? I don't know actually. An
You just-
activity that with a competitive
Ooh.
purpose.
Yeah, I would
That's
what- that's
go
what
with
I
its
feel.
definition actually.
An
Yeah.
activity that requires a skill set played at a competitive level. I guess.
A physical skill set. Because I feel like you couldn't be like,
Physical.
oh, I just joined the writing sport,
I mean, does it have to be
Oh,
physical
actually,
though? Isn't chess like
oh.
technically a sport as well?
Is chess a sport?
Yeah, at least it was considered as an event in the SEA Games, so it's
What's the
Um,
Sea Games?
Southeast
the
Asian
Southeast
games.
Asian Games.
I-
yeah.
I wasn't
SEA
even
game.
aware.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant like just sea, like Cambodian games. I don't know.
But chess isn't physical. It's mostly mental. It's big brain.
It's mostly mental, yeah. Yeah, for that aspect, would you say stuff like quizzing competitions is a sport? Because that's not really physical, but it's the same sort of
Spelling bee.
spelling. Yeah, spelling bee. Would that? Because that's a mental.
Yeah, it
Thing.
takes.
Not really mental, intellectual thing, but it's not physical.
I think
But it's also the same realm as like darts and snooker. I don't really know.
maybe we can define it as anything that puts you under pressure. No, well.
Yeah, but then you could say exams are a sport. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
I mean,
debatable topic.
if you were to redefine it, if you were to define sports, perhaps you could make it so that a sport is something that requires uh, a high, not a high, a level of skill, a level of mastery
Yeah,
to
but everything
perform.
requires a level of mastery.
Yeah.
Making
Exams.
bricks, that requires a level of
Exams
mastery.
kind of require mastery.
Exams require a level of mastery, yeah.
I mean,
In a
if you look
sense.
at
that
it,
is
I
no-
think we can all agree, like, to the core of it, it's all about, like Ronan said earlier as well, competition. You know, it has to be competitive, and then it's a competition.
Well, of course, that's
So
that's why it's called a
exams,
competition,
like
dude.
exams, are competitive, but not in a way where you're directly competing against each other. You know what I mean?
I don't. Oh, God, this is a tough one, actually.
Maybe not.
it's kind of
Maybe
hard.
not in your face competing, but you're still kind of competing against the
Yeah,
person next
but-
to you.
As in, like, there's no clear winner in an exam. You know, whereas in sports, there's generally a clear winner.
Yeah, there's like kind
So
of.
if I'm gonna put
I
it
mean,
that way,
in exams,
yeah.
there's also a first place. There's always a first place,
Yeah.
but it's. I don't know.
Yeah, but say you had like what's it put? A person who writes the most words in 20 seconds. You will have a clear winner in that, but would you consider that a sport?
then we can just consider
I
any
would not
competition
really.
a sport.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Where do you
Yeah.
draw the line?
To put it
'Cause
this
honestly,
way, like,
if you want sports to include stuff like darts and chess, you've got to include a bunch of other things as well. But if you don't call them a sport, then it sort of narrows down the definition a bunch.
or how about, like, the gray line is just, as long as it gets popular, more and more people think of it as a sport, then it becomes a sport. Because, like, you guys
Yeah,
pointed out
once
just
it gets
now, like,
accepted.
yeah, because there's no clear line right now to say what is a sport and what's not. But then, the more and more people accept it, the more and more it becomes a sport. You know what I mean?
Let's actually
true.
search up the definition of sport because okay.
I mean,
And-
I have
and
it right now. It's
Yeah.
You can go ahead with it.
An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Ooh.
For entertainment.
Yeah, for entertainment.
Yeah, so and physical exertion.
That could mean
That
anything.
could be anything.
Yeah.
That could literally
Yeah.
be
I could say
don't
staring
know,
at a wall is
a
my
slapping
entertainment.
contest.
So from what it sounds like, a sport could be something that takes skill, that has a crowd, and has a clear winner or loser.
Yeah, and-
So actually, by that definition, yeah, anything could be a sport. So
Yeah, and think
if
about
that's the
it.
case, why don't we see things like the Olympics? I mean, not the Olympics. Why don't we
Yeah,
see
the
esports
Olympics
in
are
the
sport.
Olympics?
What are you talking? Wait.
Yeah,
Why don't we see the
whiffed
Olympics as a
it.
sport, guys? Come on.
Yeah, wait.
No, you know
yeah,
what I
of course,
mean.
yeah.
yeah.
You know
But-
what I mean.
Then again, you know, just look at esports, right? About 10, 20 years ago, has anyone considered a sport? And then now we come to 2020. I mean, it's still not officially a sport, I assume, but then it's up there in the debates, you know? People are debating whether or not it should be a sport.
I think one of the big factors is exposure.
Yeah.
Because say for instance, I'm sure there was a large, say I don't know, league, right? Let's take League of Legends. Very popular game, arguably the most popular game. I don't know. But like, if you say maybe like, I don't know, when was the first League Worlds final or something?
2011 or 12. 11.
2011. So
11.
say something like 2008, right? If you were to say, is League of Legends a sport? You'd probably say, not really, no, because there's probably been not that many huge competitions.
You'd probably say no because
Not-
the game wasn't even out yet.
Or was it not? Oh,
But
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You know, before,
Yeah, but I
before,
get what you
before
mean.
it became super popular. Like you wouldn't say it was a sport, would you? Because you say, oh, it's just a game that people play. But now that you're seeing times when like these gaming competitions have massive arenas, they have tens of thousands of people watching it in a stadium. At
In
that
fact, yeah,
point, I
they
think
use
people
actual
start to
sports
consider
arena, like for example the
Exactly.
Staples Center.
they use Staples Center. They had one of the O2 in the UK, which is a big stadium in London. They have proper commentators. They've got analysts. They've got it's structured properly like a sports competition. And at
Yeah.
that point, I think people start to see when things start like what you said, when things start getting labelled as a sports competition, more people will start seeing it as a sports competition. When they start to see similarities between, say, a sports contest, like an esports contest, and like a football match, people start drawing the line between, oh, that means that's a sport, you know?
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%.
That's why I feel like things like or like we said, a spelling bee probably isn't considered a sport because it doesn't have the same. You won't have a caster for spelling bees, you know.
I
You
think
won't
it's
have a
also
commentator for
the
spelling bees.
atmosphere, maybe.
Yeah, the atmosphere
but
plays a part as well.
but then again, you could also, because in leagues you can hear like the crowd shouting like insanely, kind of like a football game or etc.
A
But
chant.
but
Yeah.
for golf, they're like, they're known for being quiet. So that's
Yeah, no
another.
one's like, come on, Tiger
Yeah.
Woods, let's go.
Yeah, no one
Oh
does
my
that.
god, yeah.
But yeah, see, then again, we still accept golf as a sport despite that difference because it's been engraved in our mindset. Yeah, it is a sport. You see.
Yeah.
So
That's
technically,
true, yeah.
if we go back, anything can become a sport as long as people start to accept it as a sport. Who knows, like 20, 30 years from now, like you said, a spelling bee contest might actually be a sport, you know?
Yeah, it might be the Olympics or something.
It might be like Olympic gold medal, you know, who can spell the world's longest word the fastest or something.
You never know. I mean, they're introducing skateboarding to the Olympics next year. They're considering adding esports. I think chess was being considered as well.
Right,
So,
which
never know.
is what's like, it brings up this discussion, which has been ongoing for a long time now. Should esports ever be a part of the Olympics? Because it's in the consideration right now, and both sides of the argument, they've been going back and forth for quite literally years now. What's your take on that?
I'd much rather them make their own form of the Olympics, like a X Games kind of thing. Like X Games.
Right.
They had they had a gaming section on that. But I feel like the Olympics should be for traditional sports only. Really, it sounds very gatekeepy in that.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Olympics are.
I feel like if the gaming community, if you told them to that, they'd be like quite offended.
Yeah. No, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know how to put it. I feel like it'd be insulting to the original Greek proprietors of the Olympics to put gaming as an Olympic sport.
Right.
Is this? But
we're going really far to
is
pass.
the screen
something
the
BC.
main barrier between what differentiates between a sport and not a sport? Is it the screen? Would you say?
Well, no, probably because the fact that the games aren't real. You're not actually casting magic spells and all that.
So. Yeah, I think we could further talk about this, because right now it seems that you and Sean are both more on the against side of it, as it seems.
I
don't know if I'd say against. I think I may be open to it, but I can see why some people would definitely be against it.
Right. Because I, for one, I'm quite on it, actually. Because, like we discussed earlier, right? Esports is gradually evolving to become more and more sports-like. Hence, esports. The sports is in the name already. And the tournaments, the brackets, the way the leagues are structured, the rule sets, the level of professionalism, it's getting closer and closer to the traditional sports level, So, I feel like, for me, that would be a good reason as to why it could be added to an Olympic event. I would like to see that happen personally. I'm full on with that notion.
Honestly, I would love to see something. If there isn't the possibility of esports being in the Olympics, I would like to see a completely new event, not just like an exclusive event for esports, but kind of a merging event, where it's like a sort of crossover between the two. Well, I guess genres. I don't know. So, for example,
Genres.
I don't know. Like it would be fun. Like it's like, think of it as an all-stars sort of competition where everyone's just there to have friendly competition and it's just to have generally a good time. So maybe you could have events where it's sports athletes are playing video games and video games are and esport pro players are playing actual sports. That would be interesting. And and everyone just has a laugh,
But
and
yeah,
everyone
then
can just get along and everything, and it helps
how would that
merge the two,
it
close
feels
the
like
gap.
it feels like you're treating it more of an exhibition thing,
Yeah,
rather
exhibition. I was
than-
just gonna say exhibition matches, which have
You're-
their own
You're
bracket.
leaning towards more of the exhibition style
What do you mean by that?
because it's more,
You're making it less as a proper competitive, the best of the best fight here, and more of a sort of charity gig.
Yeah,
it's like
charity
more
gig.
Oh no,
getting
I
exposure. You know what I mean?
all I did was say, I would love to see like an event like that. I mean, of course, that doesn't have to be the only event. It's just something that I would like to see.
Fair enough.
But I
Fair
was
enough.
yeah. I just wanted to like think about that idea. I'm butchering my words today. But if we were to talk about the more serious stuff, for sure they need some sort of Olympic event and of sorts. For example, if there were to be an Olympic level of esports, I wouldn't think that the events would be like, oh, League of Legends or Overwatch or CS:GO. It would be more of the skills needed to be good at gaming. Maybe those would be the skills that are tested in such events, for example. What do you guys think? Like such as
You
best
have, like,
aim,
Yeah, you'd rather than have
reaction.
rather than have like games to play, you have a sort of like an Olympic game that they play.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't know, like an Olympic aim lab or something, which is an aim trainer, by the way. Because if you think about it, in sports, Olympic sports, like of course they're playing their own different sports, right? But they're also training specific skills in those sports. For example, you got your running. There's a lot of stamina needed, right? Like for example, in FPS, you would need a lot of aim and reaction. Like those skills are being tested, and that's what has to be modified. It won't be exact to the traditional Olympics, but I would just suppose that'll be as close as it gets because compared to sports, esports, the variety and how much they drastically change is so much. You got like people being competitive with um trading cards in Hearthstone all the way to 10,000 APM players in StarCraft. It's completely different, so it would be unfair to be playing the Olympics under those games. Instead, maybe they could be played with skill sets,
Yeah,
like
but
I said earlier.
it wouldn't be nearly as popular.
But it's
'Cause it's like saying, why would you watch Cristiano Ronaldo play for Real Madrid when we're going to have a big competition to see who can score the furthest goal?
yeah,
No
Yeah.
one wants to watch someone who scored the
It's
furthest
kind of
goal. Someone wants to
iffy,
watch
you know.
the
If
best
you put it that
football
way.
players play him out against
if you
each
consider
other.
League as a team game and you have like who can aim the best, I don't
Or who
know.
can outplay the best, you know.
Yeah, it'd just be a little
It feels
weird.
weird as well. Because even, okay, if we take your example, right? These events normally do happen within the esports community as well. For example, the League of Legends All Stars. It's like a yearly, just like, for fun tournament where they pitch people like go 1-on-1 or you play with different rule sets, you play weirdly, you know? It feels like the way you're putting it, it's already something that the esports community decides to do on a yearly basis anyway, as a form of side entertainment. But in my opinion, if you really want to include it and then get it involved in the Olympics, it will have to be something like, it will have to be run like an actual sport. You know what I mean? It's whatever game it is. For instance, like Hearthstone, then you have the best of the best going up with each other, going like for, I don't know, every single decision possible. You just on a high
I also think
professional
it's
level.
because sports contain a myriad of skills. It's not just one skill. If we talk about, in
Yeah.
my opinion, if you think about just aiming, then
You'd have to have like instead of just a running contest, you're going to have a running contest and then a
Yeah.
jumping contest
yeah, and
a
a
sprinting
breathing contest. It's
a breathing contest.
it's how you
a
blend
form
those
fair.
skills
contest.
together to make the best of your abilities instead of maybe focusing on just one ability. I feel that's
And I
what
feel like-
defines
Fair.
And I feel like
that's what defines a
testing
sport.
on a specific skill, having like a competition on a specific skill may gut a lot of players. As in, if you go back to esports basis, right? You say, okay, best aim, but some of the best players in the world may not be known for aiming. You know, they might be good at other things.
Yeah,
It's
there
not
might
Yeah.
be. Yeah,
like shot calling, for instance, or just macro gameplay and stuff.
Or the
it
actual macro
isolates
play.
a large portion of the competitive base.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh, why do I compete when I obviously don't have the best aim?
Yeah, I understand now. Like
I mean,
maybe it's a
like
bit too
the
mechanical.
the best footballers aren't perfect footballers. You know, there's no perfect footballer.
Then how would you suggest for an Olympic style event to be inclusive of every
standard.
single
just
game?
like standard. Yeah, just treat it
Just
exactly
like
the same
standard,
as
treated
like
exactly
sports.
the same.
Yeah. In fact,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, here's an interesting fact. The Southeast Asian Games last year, they included esports as an official sport category.
Did they?
Yeah, so if you were to go to the official page of the Southeast Asian Games, under sports, they listed esports as one of them. So the way they held it as well, so let's say if it were to be implemented in the Olympics, it could be a similar style or even exactly the same, just treated exactly the same as any other traditional sport would be treated.
Yeah. That'd probably work.
Yeah. But then, there's also the argument which I think, like Rona said earlier, he'd rather have a separate type of tournament or competition for it. And I feel like the more I think about it, the more it sounds more plausible because of just the sheer amount of esports games you have right now that's growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You got
maybe
like
instead of-
Valorant, you got
Yeah.
League, you've got
yeah,
Fortnite.
like just looking at the current scene right now, you have League, Dota, CS:GO being like the three pioneers of esports, and then
You got
you have,
Valorant
like-
coming up. You
Yep.
got Fall Guys coming up.
Fall Guys esports. Let's go.
Fall Guys esports. Let's
And
go.
then you have some like I would still say still has maybe like some potential like Overwatch League, So there's a
Maybe
lot of
instead
these
of
games
Olympics,
coming
it's
up. and then-
Olympics.
Yeah.
I would feel.
So like they have a separate Olympics on its own because now that I think about it, having it included in the current Olympics seems a bit, I don't know, impractical because of just how many esport games are out there right now. There's just so many scenes out there. They might better off be a
Okay.
separate Olympics for it. Yeah.
Wait, sorry if I sound stupid by saying this, but you know how we have world events already, right? For
Yeah.
some games already have their own special world events. So, and Olympics, if we were to have an Olympic esport, like that would be its own world event, correct? So, what do you guys think that they could do to differentiate such events? Like, yeah, we get it. All the games are going to be in there, so it's one big event including every single
mean,
game, but
Look at World
it
Cup.
sounds like you're just adding in a bit of Worlds from League of Legends, a bit of Grand Finals from Overwatch, and then it's like as if you're just merging
That's
different
That's
World
true.
Final
We're just
events.
merging different competitive formats that already exist into one big one.
I mean, the format will be similar in a sense. You imagine this, right? Picture World Cup. We have all types of different football leagues already, right? But
Yeah.
the difference in
Country
those
teams.
is you fight for your team in those leagues, but then when it comes to the World Cup itself, you're fighting on behalf of your country. So
That's true. Yeah.
no doubt you have different esports coming together, and
That's
the
true.
format
Yeah.
will be
Right,
similar.
'cause,
But
like,
then the thing
it's
you're
gonna be
fighting for is
country
different
teams.
now. Yeah,
It won't be like every team is Americans or every team is Koreans,
Yeah.
every team is Chinese. It's going to be there's one Korean team, there's one American team, there's one Chinese team, there's one British team,
and so on and so forth.
like
yeah,
proper
so
Olympic fashion. Yeah.
it won't be like a case where, for example, the most famous example was one of the British teams in the Overwatch League. No one
Yeah,
from
London
England.
Spitfire.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong,
legends.
they were a team full of Koreans. Am I right?
They're full of
Yeah.
Koreans.
So
Correct.
in a sense, once you have Olympic scenario for these sports, then let's say the same team they cannot represent London anymore because they're not from England.
It's like the same thing. Like in football, let's take like Manchester United or something. I think out of their entire team, there's like 2 players that actually come from Manchester,
Who?
and like I think Rashford and
Oh, Rashford. Yeah.
I don't know someone else. But the point still stands. Like the teams, they don't like these teams. They don't have anyone representing them. But when they go on the World Cup, they're representing England, and they have no other choice.
Well, they can choose to switch
Oh,
nations.
they do have a choice.
They do have a
could choose to
choice.
switch nations, but they'll be representing that nation.
Yeah.
The point still stands, just under a different nation.
Okay. Oh, that seems about right. But we've been constantly reinstating the point of the separation instead of merging of the two sports. But one thing that can be separated, and I just wanted to go, well, not really on a tangent, but try to discuss a different aspect of sports, and that is sportsmanship.
What do you mean
Ooh.
about what about sportsmanship?
It's kind of
So what about sportsmanship?
Yeah, it's a bit of
Yeah.
a jump, but then go on.
Yeah, the reason why I make this jump is because sportsmanship is just as important as, you could argue, it's just as important as skill in Olympic level sports, correct?
Right.
Like just simple respect can go a long way.
Sportsmanship's not a skill. Sportsmanship's a quality.
Yeah, it's just
It's a quality. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
But some of the best
But-
sportsmen weren't sportsman-like, you know.
Yeah.
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 Well,
And
I think
that
it's
begs
called
the question.
I think it's called gamesmanship when you're not sporting. Like you're just playing to
Oh.
win. I think, yeah.
Then that's where I bring up the question though. Where do you draw the fine line between sportsmanship and really playing to win? Because in sports, everyone plays to win unless, of course, there's some minor examples of match fixing and all. But then if we don't look at that, everyone's playing to win. So where would you draw the line
Well,
between
Well,
sportsmanship
what
and, as you call
was
it,
Alex's
gamesmanship?
point? I feel like we cut off Alex's point before he said his point. I feel like we should let Alex
Yeah,
speak
I
his
think we should
point.
go back
No,
to
no,
first.
no, that was my point. No, that was my point that I was
Oh.
about to say. It's a perfect transition. Yeah, go for it.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of obvious. I find it obvious to where to draw the line. If the person looks like he's acting on behalf of his own personal gains to win, then I really don't see a problem with it.
As long as,
it's not breaking the
yeah,
rules.
as long as
I
it's
don't
not
care.
cheating, because then that's definitely like blatantly wrong.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I think sportsmanship's overrated.
Right.
Really?
Honestly, I think it's overrated.
Like honor, you would
Like
for
honor,
you would
like all that, like.
Because
I understand honor, right, and I understand not being a dick when playing, right. But when I see people like criticize, oh, that's just not in that's not in the style of the sport. He should be punished for that. I'm thinking, but he won though, so I don't think he cares.
yeah,
you know?
sportsmanship doesn't win you games.
Sports, exactly. Like I'll give you an example, right? There was a match last year, a football match between two very big teams, and it was a cup final, and. One of the other team players they were losing was through on goal. He was completely like one guy left to pass, and it was the goalkeeper. This would have won them the game. And the last defender of the other team just took him out. Literally took him out. Tackled him. Didn't even try to didn't even try to play fair. Literally took him out.
Just broke.
He
Like,
got a red card.
destroyed his
sent
legs.
off. He didn't destroy his legs, but it could have potentially
He
resulted.
very
in that.
blatantly fouled him.
He very blatant. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't intending to play fair. He took
Right.
him out with the intent to take him out, and they won. They won that trophy, you know, all because
Operation
of him.
Red Card, right?
Yeah, exactly. The red card was worth it.
It's
you
an
know?
instant
His
red.
teammates loved him for
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure the fans were thinking like, "Oh, what a
The
genius
fans would love him
move!"
for that. Yeah, exactly. At that point, like, if I was in his situation, I wouldn't go, "Oh, I don't want to tackle him. I'll let him go through and lose the game for my team." You know.
Right. So then this raises the question, how far, if like, let's say we were athletes, how far would you be willing to go for the sake of victory compared to withholding the so-called sportsmanship?
Well, it depends on if it's a team game or like an
Yeah.
individual game.
So
'Cause I feel like with an
think of it
individual
in the
game,
context of a
there's
sport you
lot
play
less-
the most. Then think
Okay,
of it in the
football
context of a
then,
sport you
yeah.
play the most. Like for you it's football, for Sean and I badminton. If you were
For
thinking
Alex,
this for Alex is
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a 101.
Yeah, I guess.
So
yeah.
in these contexts, how far would you guys be willing to go for victory versus to uphold a sense of sportsmanship in a sense?
It also depends on the competition, I think. Like
Yeah,
the
and
level.
also depends on the context of stuff. Yeah.
Because if it's one of those competitions where, it's, well, I wouldn't say friendly, but there's still a competitive level. But in the end, if all you do is just win a trophy, everyone's just like, oh yeah, I don't think I'd stoop to that low. But if it were like a a trophy where I could showcase to the school will know my name, blah blah blah, then I'd really fight for it, and maybe
And-
maybe I will do those dirty tactics, maybe.
And yeah, to back up what Sean said, so if you go back to badminton, if let's just say it was just a friendly match, if someone else came to our school or something and had a friendly match, we'll be like, oh yeah, sportsman, that maybe that wasn't an out, if the ref, the
Yeah,
umpire
maybe
called an out, I'll be like, no, it was in.
Yeah, it's whatever. Just give him the
Yeah,
point.
but and then not in my mind right now, it's the last badminton competition we had. In that setting, it was do or die. We win, we move on to the top four. We lose, we're out. I think in that sense, if I was in that scenario, the umpire calls a shot. As long as I'm given a point, regardless of whether or not did I actually deserve the point, I would take the point without saying anything.
Yeah,
So it's, just
yeah.
it's kind of like back up Sean's point of depends on the scale of the competition, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe
Well, at that point, it's not you doing an underhand tactic. It's the incompetence of whoever's officiating. So it's not really your fault.
Yeah, it's not really my fault. But
it's
then,
a bit of luck as well.
when people talk about sportsmanship, they say, "Oh, he saw that it was I forgot the name of that one tennis player who challenged the umpire against his own point."
Oh,
because-
What's
not
his
Ling
name?
Dan. It's Ling Dan.
John McEnroe.
I forgot the name completely. but then-
McEnroe was
Or
like
what's his name? Nick Kyrgios.
Oh,
Nick Kyrgios as well.
wasn't McEnroe
Yeah.
like who knows how long ago? They didn't even have Hawkeye then.
McEnroe was long ago.
Yeah.
They didn't have Hawkeye, but
So
Kyrgios.
he
pisses
saw
off
like
everyone.
the shot
Yeah.
was in, but then he challenged the umpire. So I think to myself sometimes, wow, for the moral high ground, I would say I'm able to do the same thing. And then I think again to just that one tournament again, I'll be like, nah, man, if I'm given the point, I'm taking that point. It's do or die.
Yeah.
Maybe it depends. If it's a really tight game, then yeah, I will take that point, and whatever, if the luck comes to me, then I will accept. But if you're winning really hard, then maybe not.
Yeah,
I
true.
Also
think even
depends.
then I would
Give
still
him a
take the
pity
point.
point.
I would still take the point.
I wouldn't say pity point, but I don't know. I'm afraid karma will bite me in the ass or something.
Yeah.
True.
But
Wait, did this pity point thing actually happen?
Well, it worked against me.
it worked
Once.
against us.
Lol.
It worked against us. Big time.
How?
Basically, in one of our matches, we had a really sketchy umpire who just kept calling us out for some reason. As
I-
in,
I
so
was-
many times it was obviously within the line, right? But then he'd be like, nah, it's out. We give them the point.
Whose match was it?
I think your single match had that problem, and one of Ivan's double matches had that problem.
I think it was Ivan's double match because I remember almost getting out of my chair in in outrage.
No, Ivan's,
Have a good go at him.
Ivan's double match was straight up blatant favoritism.
I wanted to jump out like, oh, what the hell? But you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
get sent off or something.
You don't get
That's
sent
the
off,
thing as
but
well,
like
Hmm.
See, so that's why I want to bring it back. You say what the opponent team did. It wasn't against the rules because it was the umpire that was showing blatant favoritism.
Is the umpire? Yeah, the umpire's
but-
incompetence.
But then
Not
behind
really.
our backs, we wouldn't call them sportsmanlike because they knew the call was wrong, but they didn't challenge it because it benefits them.
no, it's also
But to be fair, you'd
the
also do
crowd-
the same in that situation.
We also do the same.
yeah, it's also the crowd as well
So-
because they can definitely influence the umpire.
Oh,
yeah,
certainly.
yeah, I still remember one of the points. I knew it was really in. Okay, let's be real, but I knew also that from the umpire's perspective, he couldn't have seen the shot because my body was kind of blocking it. So, I don't know what the official rules are, but in a way, they kind of want you to have integrity. Be a sportsman about it. Just say in or out.
Yeah.
But then I was gonna call it in anyway, so I lost the point. But the opponent I was facing, his school or like his supporters, if I were to say out, just to lie, it wouldn't have mattered because they were so loud about it. They would be like, "I know that was
yeah.
blatantly in. What are you doing? You're an idiot umpire," and there would have been nothing I could have done.
Hmm.
So I feel like
Yeah.
that also plays.
Plays a role.
Yeah,
yeah,
plays a
influence.
role. It definitely influence.
Yeah.
So I think the bottom line is that
Why are
for
we
the sake of
concluding it so quickly?
no, I'm not concluding it, but I'm just saying what we
Oh.
said so far is like our terms of sportsmanship is as long as we don't break the rules. But if it's because of someone else's incompetence, let's say the umpire, the referee, we'll take it.
No,
Like,
if
we'll take
it's
it.
I don't know if incompetence would be the word.
As long as it doesn't break the rules. Like that thing where you say, as long as it doesn't break the rules. Like the scenario I mentioned earlier about the guy taking out the footballer when he was going to score. That's against the rules.
That's obvious.
Like you can't.
blatantly.
There's a reason why he got penalised for that. Yeah, he got a red card
Oh,
for
it's-
that.
But
I
that was
just
also
talking more
unsportsmanlike.
us, just the four of us.
Hmm.
I think the way to phrase it is, at least for me, when it comes to, I know that we said I do an individual sport, but I'll just quickly branch onto the team sport because that's just what we're going through right now. So, wait, give me a second.
No,
I
in
need to
fact, give us a
think.
shot on individual sports as well.
I will right
Yeah.
after this. I feel as though it's a matter of indirect and direct content when it contact when it comes to being sportsmanlike. So, for example, like you said earlier, if somebody's being incompetent, me personally, I would probably be fine with just letting that brush pass because it's not indirectly me being unsportsmanlike, right?
Right.
But if I were to be that goalkeeper doing that tackle, I wouldn't do that because that's directly me doing that thing. I would feel terrible afterwards. So that direct responsibility of being unsportsmanlike would be the greatest factor to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like that's what I meant just now. As in, like, for the four of us, we wouldn't go out of our way to get the win if it meant blatantly breaking the rules. But
I might.
oh,
I'm not
okay
gonna lie.
then.
You might.
You
Okay,
might, okay.
go for it.
Go-
Say it.
go
Say it.
for
Say
it.
it. Say it.
What? Like
How's-
if I was in the situation where it was like I could win the World Cup if I do this one against the rules tackle, I'd fucking do it. Why not?
No, I mean,
My whole country would love me if I do that.
it's so. I
I'm
think
breaking the
I
rules.
feel like
at
the
that
three of
point.
us are being a little unfair on it because it's easy to say, "Oh, I'd never do that. I'd never
Exactly. everyone's like,
blatantly
I'd
break
never
the
do it.
rules."
If you were in the situation, I trust you. You might think a
You
bit
you might. That's the
you were
Things
thing.
in-
could change in the moment. Things could change in the
Then
moment.
Yeah.
it goes
That's
back to
true.
what
Exactly.
Sean says. Then it depends on what competition it is, huh?
Exactly. If it's like a friendly competition, you're just being a dick at that point. If you're in a competition where, like, to you it has incredible importance, to a country it has an incredible importance, it's still a dick move, but it's a bit more understandable.
But yeah. So if I were to give that sounds all fine and dandy. But yeah, back to individual. How do I put this? It's kind of hard because I'm doing martial art as a individual sport, and honestly, the only thing that comes to honor and sportsmanship is just doing your traditional. You bow before and after a fight, and you just don't do any cheap shots, right? Because
Yeah.
cheap shots in those cases, you can't get away with them.
Yeah.
Yes, you inflict injury, but you literally benefit nothing. You gain nothing
Except
from it.
hitting them, yeah, if used for personal gain.
Yeah, so there's really no way that you could kind of win from being unsportsmanlike, from what I can tell. Unless,
yeah.
I don't know, like you overdose somebody before the match. I don't know.
Whoa.
I beg
A
to
bit
differ
brutal,
on that
but-
because being unsportsmanlike can actually, in my opinion, leave a really mental thorn on the opponent. Because if
yeah.
you
Yeah, but
if
like,
you're blatant showboat, if you look at boxing, the amount of trash talking against, I highly
Yeah, it
doubt.
gets in their head.
Like I highly doubt. Yeah, it gets to their head, and when you get into your head, you're emotional. You can't focus. You don't perform as best, and then you lose.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't know how to apply for Taekwondo because I don't know if they can trash talk or like kind of like like fake a illegal kick or
Fake an
etc.
injury.
Oh no.
I mean,
But if you fake an injury, isn't that
most-
to your detriment? It's like, oh no, I
Yeah, true,
lost,
to your own
Yeah,
detriment. Oh no, my leg broken.
so
Sorry.
I can't play.
I mean, Taekwondo at a competitive level is about a point system than being the guy up. So
Oh, that's true.
I'm
yeah.
not too sure.
I mean,
And
so
when
is
it comes to
boxing
bad,
to an extent.
yeah, when it comes to like bad manners in like fighting, it goes both ways. Like, of course, if you trash talk somebody, but then you just got rolled the next round, dude, that's gonna hurt you even more.
Yeah.
True.
That's gonna
Yeah.
hurt just
Yeah.
like twice. But from my own personal experience, well, I don't even understand a clue what my opponent's saying, so I'm just like, yeah,
Oh
uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay.
But then-
I'm just gonna kick you in the face right
You know-
after this round. That's all.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Brutal. Okay,
Yeah.
go on.
Generally, sportsmanship in martial arts is just not unnecessarily like hurting your opponents.
It's just
'Cause-
like a general sense of respect for the other person.
I haven't seen much examples of,
Yeah.
but I feel like the ones that are considered unsportsmanlike are the ones that really intentionally try to hurt you more than they should. They needed to.
But to be fair, it is fun having a fun battle. I'm
we
just
get
saying,
it, Alex.
like,
You're a
you get it,
going
masochist.
at
We
it.
get it.
You
No,
get
wait,
it?
no, that's what I meant. Wait, what does this have to be about
Okay.
masochistic?
He-
No,
he wants to
it's like
pummel us. He said it.
no, what? That's being sadistic. But anyways,
Is it? Oh,
Um,
did I get him confused? I think I got him
I
confused.
think yeah, no, it's because the thrill of a fight is very fun. As long as you don't overdo it, no matter sparring, no matter competition, I think both sides are just gonna be having a fun time kicking each other and punching each other. Like that's just
Yeah, I think
it's
for
all
all
cool and
sports it's
stuff.
like that, where
Pulling
Right.
moves and everything,
if both sides are
combos.
having fun, that's the greatest feeling ever. It's like, oh, what a great move, blah blah blah. But yes, of course, being unsportsmanlike is the not complete opposite, but it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, like it sounds really shonen, but holy crap, like
Shonen is a
We just got like
adjective.
anime
Yeah.
power-ups in the middle of tournaments.
no, like to be fair, like the little weeb I was when I was 4 years old, I
You're still a
I
little
chose
weeb, aren't you?
taekwondo. I'm quite tall, so I wouldn't call myself a little
Wow,
weeb. I'm a big
flexing.
weeb.
Wow.
Flexing. I'm not even flexing my height. I don't need to say crap unless you want to do the honors to. Actually, that's so stupid. Why would you do that?
Nah,
Never
man,
mind.
you're just
Anyways, anyways, crap, my brain. Yeah. No, like.
You want to
Jesus
say
Christ.
something rather than like
I should say something. I should
But-
say.
yeah,
Give me.
what?
a brain jam right here.
Whew, whew.
Your
Give me a
brain is
second. Give me a
farting out
second.
loud right
Okay,
now.
I'm back. No, but like.
He's back.
4 years old, watch Dragon Ball, stuff like that. It's fun. Chose Taekwondo, the least offensive martial art, which is kind of like funny, but it let me respect how to fight reservedly, like how to fight in a way where you were doing it to defend yourself. There wasn't really
Self-defense rather
killer
than attack.
intention.
What? So
Yeah.
so do you just
Yeah.
like randomly launch a Kamehameha in the middle?
Nah, I wish, dude. I wish.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Like, can-
broken, dude. Can you nerf that?
Yeah, mate.
Could you nerf that? But yeah, I think the only time which I've done something unsportsmanlike, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I just wanted to share, like, this is why, in my opinion, when it comes to martial arts, the extent of being unsportsmanlike is pretty small. Because like even I feel bad for this, even though it might sound pretty trivial. It's like, oh, I accidentally gave my sparring partner a nosebleed, and it's not really unsportsmanlike, but I didn't have to go for the head, like stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
For example, like if to make it full circle, just to keep the examples consistent, that goalkeeper didn't have to tackle him, but he should, it definitely benefited him. Me kicking that guy in the head, yeah, gives me more points, but to be fair, I was already ahead in points. There's no need to, cause injury.
Isn't it also kind of risky to
Because
go for the kick in the head?
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
sometimes they get knocked out cold. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they go stiff as a stick and then they just drop. I've seen videos. Those are scary. I've
Yeah,
never
they
seen
do
one in real
the
life though.
what's it called, the fencing position, where they put their hand in the air and it signifies that they're knocked out or something, or they're concussed.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before in like football when people get knocked out.
Oh, football
That's
injuries are just.
scary.
Yeah, I don't want to
yeah,
watch
even
those
something-
here.
Even something like that, I would feel bad for you. So at least in my case, I don't think you can really go that far with being like a prick, unless it's something before the match, which again is just bad
It's
manners.
just trash
That's
talk.
it, really.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's things that you could do which are much worse in jogging or I'm not
Jogging.
Sorry.
You're so slow, bro. Bye.
You okay?
No. Let me think. Like, actually, no, I can't think. Whatever. Yeah. Moving on, guys. Please save me.
Not sure if he can, mate. You
How about
farted it quite loudly.
Farted it?
His brain just farted it quite loudly, man.
Oh no, I thought you were just saying something random. Okay, never mind.
But yeah, is there anything more to say about competitive integrity? I don't think so. I think we got in a few perspectives.
Our perspective's like.
Is there
quite
anything
clear
you
at this
guys
point.
would like to push forward about sports? Like any personal opinions you just want to put out there?
Yes. Can we
Yeah,
get them back,
sports
please?
Suck, dude.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Of course, I'm being ironic.
I
Guys.
really want to play sports. I feel so unhealthy after like so long.
Same.
You know what? Yeah, let's jump on that. We all want to play sports, but obviously the pandemic being one of the big factors right now that's holding us back, right?
Wait, what? There's a pandemic? You didn't tell me. What?
Oh man, I'm sorry,
It's
I
not like
forgot
we
you're
mentioned
in
it for
the
the.
UK.
Breathe it. There's
It's
a
even,
pandemic.
it's even worse there.
It's even worse here. Yeah.
Mm.
But
No,
let's
but
forget about it.
I
Let's
mean,
just
I'm
move on.
saying-
It's not
I'm-
like we talk.
I'm saying ironically because there's still a lot of people who refuses to acknowledge it.
Uh,
Nah, it's a
Yeah,
hoax, man. What do you mean?
dumbasses.
No, flat
It's
out
not like we've
dumbasses.
talked about this topic three
Yeah.
We did
times
this
already,
topic last week. Let's move on.
and the week
That's what I'm
before
gonna
Yeah,
that.
the
bring
week
up now,
before.
right? Just because of that. How do you think this would affect sports events in the future, or at least in recent?
This already
years?
has affected sports events, mate. The
Yeah.
Olympics are next year. You know, they should have been this
I
year,
think
but
he
the
meant
next
like
year.
maybe future precautions.
Yeah, like
No,
even
there won't be
future
any
Supposed to
precautions,
be-
how things might change. As in, like, have you guys seen a post of a concert recently in England where it's
Yeah, it's a
I
driving
guarantee
concert.
it's the emptiest concert you ever see because of social distancing.
Yeah.
I feel
Or they're
like
doing like car concerts when you come in on a car and you sit in the car, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where the concert is held. I think it's just a temporary thing. I don't think there's going to be any permanent changes. You know?
no,
Once
I
the-
don't know
once
if
the
there'll be
virus
changes.
normalizes, it's just going to go back to normal.
No one will look at not no one, but a lot of people won't look at like a concert or like a sports game the same, as in like maybe they're more inclined to wash their hands afterwards. Because if you look at football matches, there's when a team scores a goal, the celebrations are insane. People are hugging, people are kissing, people are throwing beer around.
Yeah,
It's just
backflips
Yeah.
and whatever. Yeah,
It's just a whole breeding ground of like disease, basically.
yeah.
I don't know if there will be any reductions in that. I highly doubt it, but hopefully
No.
people will look at it as an like we've seen what has happened when we don't social distance. Let's take a precautionary measure and just wash our hands afterwards. Like I think
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
I thought I didn't realize you meant talking about it like in the near future. I was thinking maybe in like 10 years.
I
so
No, no,
doubt
no,
I doubt
let's
in
say
10
recent
years.
years. Recent years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
because
I don't think
because
there'll be that much.
if we
difference.
followed like bubonic plague, then there'd been like no. If we follow by that logic, then there'd be no like gatherings at all in today's world.
Yeah,
So
True, yeah.
true.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know if it'd
We
be
got
sure
over
that,
one plague, we can get over another one.
that's one way of saying
Just go next to disease.
Go next, go next.
world disaster.
It's just a matter
Mhm.
of when we get over it.
I was just thinking, realistically speaking, I wouldn't be surprised in the future if, yeah, because people are more aware, because because this is like our first major disease in this century. If you want to
The only-
like major as in like
no.
it's worldwide,
SARS is pretty
worldwide
major, but
influence.
yeah.
Yeah, but it
Ebola
wasn't
was pretty
worldwide,
major.
But SARS didn't spread
True,
as
true.
badly as this thing did.
And because of that, more people are aware now. So perhaps maybe in the future, precautions will be made, such as perhaps more sanitary stations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Stadiums.
sanitary stations will stay at post like pandemic.
For
So
sure,
I think I think it's just a benefit in general. Like there's nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah, just,
literally nothing wrong with having more sanitation.
just alcohol
stations.
rubs.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good quality of life thing. But maybe to more extreme extents, I wouldn't call it extreme. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. But for some organizations who maybe are a bit more, who want to be a bit more cautious, they might even do such things like banning standing crowds, and it has to be a fully seated event. I don't know. Like, okay, you can stand up when you cheer, but you know what I mean? Like, no standing crowds, because, you know, standing crowds in general, even, for example, rave parties or...
No, that doesn't
or-
really matter because standing crowds are banned in quite a large amounts of sporting events anyway.
No, but for example, I don't know, rugby sevens, right? Like, yeah, there's seats everywheres. Everywhere. Holy crap. There's seats everywhere, but you have those portions, like for example, the adult booth. That
Oh,
adult
yeah.
booth, yes, it has seats, but nobody uses it. They treat it like crap, and everyone's just standing and, you know, and they're all like being so compact. At least with seats, there's some distance, but these guys are like rubbing against each other nonstop.
Yeah, it's the adult room for a reason. You know,
Okay, it's not like the. Yeah, I'm not gonna continue that joke, or else.
I've already made it. You don't need to continue
It's not.
it.
It's not PG. I wasn't gonna.
What do you mean
Yeah.
it's not PG?
Yeah.
This isn't a PG podcast.
True, true.
Fair.
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 This
So,
is an
I
18
could say that.
plus after hours.
Fair.
XXX
After
It is?
rated.
hours.
Oh.
Okay, maybe not that rated, but still, we're not PG.
Okay, true. Okay, fine. Yeah.
We're
We
still
are
working on it.
16 plus.
like obviously a rave party where it isn't a rave that's being a mosh pit and everything is kind of
Mm.
weird. Imagine
Mm.
having a rave party and everyone's just sitting down, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit weird, but it might happen. Depends on how bad this whole thing gets. I wouldn't be surprised. Or worst comes to worst, everything becomes online, as in the audience is online, but the event is still physically there and it's live. But that would
Yeah,
be
like
pretty
at the
bad for
moment. That's like at the
sports.
moment though.
Yeah, that's kind
Yeah,
of
but
the
that would be pretty
moment.
bad for
Yeah, it's
sports.
just especially for
It Yeah, it is pretty bad for sports. Like
yeah.
You lose the atmosphere.
you
Imagine
lose the
playing.
not even atmosphere. It'll be bad for the financial aspect.
Yeah,
of the
there's no
sport.
money. Like
There's no
Yeah,
money
there's
coming
no
in
money
for
flowing
clubs.
seat
in.
tickets will
No,
be
like they could buy
redundant.
online tickets. They could buy online tickets.
No,
But
you don't understand.
there's gonna be
dude.
like an illegal
Some of the
stream on a
Smaller
website.
football teams. Yeah, smaller football teams. They need people coming in through the door. They need people buying food, merchandise to keep their club going. I know a lot of football teams who are really struggling to keep afloat
If you look at
because of this
Right.
pandemic.
Barry FC, even before this pandemic, they
Yeah, even before this pandemic, they were
they
getting
lost.
shafted by everything. Like they were a football club that had a really bad owner who just took money out of the club whenever he wanted to. Absolute dickhead of a guy.
Yikes.
But if they were in this pandemic right now, they wouldn't survive because there's just no money coming in through the door.
Yeah, fair enough.
In fact, like
I mean,
everything's getting
You're
really
s-
heavily affected right now. It's just that, oh hey, like coincidence going back, esports instead is garnering much more attention now because everyone's just sitting at home. But then, like you said, traditional sports club they're really suffering because merch are not getting sold out. No one, literally, just no one in stadiums and all. They're just not getting the big buck,
No, yeah, a lot of people are watching it, but a lot of people are investing in it. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say it. I guess investing is a good word. It's sort of
investing.
It necessitates the economic impact.
But to be fair, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this, not just in sports, but in media. And I'm going to make this a short point, but it's just something that I've noticed is a trend. So, we got YouTube and we got Twitch and all these streaming websites, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have traditional TV. When
Correct.
Twitch and YouTube are getting all this attention, traditional TV suffers. Look at sports. When all these esports are getting more attention, non-traditional sports are suffering. But of course, the difference is non-traditional sports are suffering because pandemics are restricting them, and
You're describing it. You're
TV
describing it as the reason why traditional sports clubs are suffering are because of esports. Yeah, you.
no, not necessarily.
I get the YouTube and TV thing, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
a bad comparison to make between esports.
Yeah.
No, I
and-
mean, wait. Let me finish then. Let me finish then. What I was trying to say is, yes, the reasons are different, but I just wanted to point out that there is definitely a trend of out with the old, in with the new,
Hmm.
with a lot of
I
things
think,
now.
I think traditional TV's dying.
Yeah, traditional TV
Like,
is
if that's
definitely
what you
gone,
mean.
and that's why I agree with you 100%.
Not gone, but it's dying.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people
why-
that
it's gonna
watch
be gone
these.
soon.
Why wait an hour to watch a program on TV when you've got it at your fingertips whenever you want it?
Exactly.
Could that be possible? Could something like that happen to? Do you guys think something like that could happen to traditional sports, where esports could
Nowhere-
somehow replace
nowhere
them?
near.
No.
way.
The thing is,
Esports is still miles behind in popularity compared to
not
traditional
only
sports,
that,
man.
but then if you think about it this way, the reason why traditional TV is dying off is because, like Ronan said, right, we're moving on to like Netflix, YouTube, and stuff.
streaming, it's just convenience.
yeah.
It's still the
And
same TV shows,
the
they're
thing
just
is-
being watched through a different
The
medium.
thing on these things is you don't really watch both traditional TV and streaming websites at the same time. But
Yeah,
what's stopping you from following esports and traditional sports at the same time when you're so different? Like
exactly.
Imagine
yeah.
football
you could
gets
still
replaced by
be a hardcore
FIFA.
football fan and still support League of Legends.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think if
Sorry.
it were to happen, it wouldn't happen for a long, long time.
And yeah, it's gonna happen.
Esports
Okay.
would need to
nowhere near
become
the
a
future.
lot more mainstream.
I'll explain the thought process as to why I brought up that this kind of discussion. It's because when I was thinking about, you guys, I expected that counter argument, but I feel as though there's not a majority, but I feel as though after the pandemic, maybe there could be a dent that's left in people where, why am I playing this why am I playing, for example, basketball when I could just play I don't know, this game that I love so much and follow the
I
scene
doubt
from
it.
home. Like I can't be asked to
I
go
doubt
outside. But
it.
like what if people start getting used to the lifestyle of being inside that they forget about the things that they could have done
I think
outside,
it's
like
complete
sports?
opposite. People are sick of staying inside.
We are
There's a
dying to
reason
go
why-
outside.
Yeah, there's a reason why 9 million people go to the beach every time there's a good day, you know? I don't think humans are built to stay indoors in isolation for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Similarly,
I
I,
mean,
don't think
Think
humans
about
are
it from
built
your own
to...
perspective.
You
Has this pandemic let us want to,
I've heard way too many stories of people going, fuck playing FIFA. I'll just go play football myself, I'll find a wall, I'll kick a ball at a wall,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if that's the case, do you guys think that non-traditional sports are gonna? I mean, not non-traditional. Do you think that normal sports are? I shouldn't say normal. Would you say that traditional sports would like get a massive boom once the pandemic's over?
I think in terms of time frames, yes. Because once the pandemic is over, it should be once the pandemic is a bit better, I'd say maybe 2021. You've got the Olympics and you've got the European Football Championships at the same year.
Oh,
That's
the
gonna
Euros.
give a big boost.
Yeah,
That's going to give a big
the
boost to
Euros.
sports, regardless.
Yeah.
And you had a Rugby World Cup in Japan last year. I think I think it won't be because of the pandemic. It'll just be because of what's
Of the events as well.
happening at that time. What events are happening at that time? Yeah.
So it's just all perfectly lined up, and it'll
Yeah,
just
exactly.
be bonus points if the pandemic is resolved by then, right?
Yeah, and there's a World Cup the year after that as well. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
about
exactly. So, I don't see traditional sports coming anywhere near getting replaced or overtaken by a long
that.
shot.
Or like feeling any boost or negative impact. I think it'll
Yeah.
just
I guess
once we go back to normality, that's it. We're just back to normality.
Yeah.
Also,
guess
Sean
some
kind of
things
had a
just
point
never
there just now. I think
get
I kind of
old.
skipped the point.
Reiterate it. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie.
Which point?
No, I'm not sure. I think Sean wanted to say
Exactly.
something there for a second there.
You don't even remember the point.
You said it before. You didn't even
No, no, no.
remember it.
Sean wanted to say something and then he got cut off.
Oh, he wanted to.
I
Yeah,
don't
he wanted to say
remember.
something.
I don't remember.
He doesn't even remember himself.
He doesn't remember.
Great.
We
Right,
all
great.
forgot. We all forgot.
It's fine.
Well, like I said, some things just don't get old then, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing in this case, you know.
And I just feel like
But
at the end of the
yeah.
day, non-traditional sports and traditional sports are just too different in terms of what you actually
Yeah,
do.
I think the problem with what we're doing is that we're comparing them as if they're substitutes for each other.
Yeah,
when really
they're nowhere near
probably,
substitutes.
They're probably complementing each other. You know,
Yeah,
a person who's a fan of football will probably like football esports.
Apples and
They'll probably
oranges.
watch it at the same time.
Like
So,
they
like-
might like Rocket League for all we
Exactly,
know.
they might like
Yeah.
Rocket League. I know Rocket League's got a huge fan base. Like that, obviously a football-based game is going to have a huge overlap with football fans, but you know, you get the point I'm trying to make. Like,
Yeah.
it's not independent. No one watches Rocket League as a substitute for football,
And
unless you know their
here's the
team's
thing
doing
as
really
well.
bad.
For esports especially, the VODs are so accessible. You can watch replays, the full replays of the matches
Exactly.
anytime, anywhere. But you cannot say the same for most traditional sports.
Yeah, they're
So-
all paywalled a lot of
Yeah,
time.
they paywall quite hard badly.
I mean, that's just what they have to do to get more money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Too
It's not-
much
it's not a
money, I
bad thing.
think. Too
But
much
then-
money.
But then,
But
you know,
then,
I know.
But
I lost my
then-
train of thought there.
does roughly a quarter have anything else to say?
yeah,
What?
there
If
you
not,
go.
then we can start wrapping up. You know, I did the intro already
I'll do the
today.
outro then.
That
I'll
was
do the outro.
you should do the outro.
I'll do
You know,
the
let's
outro.
flip it
Fine,
up.
I'll do the outro.
Yeah, fine. You do
No,
it.
you
Yeah,
do it,
no,
you
it's
do it,
fine.
man, you
It's-
do it.
Come on, do
Why
it.
are you acting like?
Jesus.
Why are you acting like I didn't agree to do it? I literally just said, "Oh, I'll do the outro." Sure. You're all acting like, "Oh, Ronan, you never do the outro, huh?" Here's you
No,
trying to
I'm
do it
just-
now.
I'm just
I've done
jumping
it
on what
every
Alex
other
is jumping on.
time.
Then let Jinming do the outro. Jinming, you do the outro.
Wait, why should I let Jinming do the outro? I literally just said I'll do it.
No, that's
Well-
fine.
well,
What
consider
are you
roughly a
doing?
quarter
Do
of
the
Do
it.
you
outro.
have
Argue
any
for
idea
5
what you're
minutes.
talking about? Do you have
Yeah, I have
any
an
idea what
idea.
you're talking about?
This is treason.
This is typical roughly a
Treason?
quarter bullshit. Jimmy.
What? How is it treason? Which royal which member of royalty are we being a traitor to?
Junming.
Are you calling
Jinming.
Jinming a king?
He's my king.
Neo.
Okay, wow, that's a,
Okay, okay.
that's a great way to end this off. That's a
As your
great way
king,
to
I
end this
hereby
off.
dismiss you from my kingdom. Out you go.
Oh,
Yeah, see,
no.
I think that's kind of where we're going to end it off. Alex
Yeah.
being excluded, excommunicated from Jinming's kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah, this has been roughly a quarter. This has been our first return back to form, a proper topic episode. None of this brain dead, mind numbingly boring. I don't know. Maybe it's boring to someone, but you know what I'm talking
We
about.
hope not.
The unstructured, messy format that we had for the last few chapters. Chapters?
Chapters.
Episodes.
Hey, we're
Yo,
book
chapters
now,
makes it
guys.
sound a lot. Yeah,
We're
chapters
best-selling
makes it sound a
authors.
lot nicer. But you know, yeah. We'll be back next week probably. I have a feeling that the schedule for the next few weeks might be a bit all over the place. As a lot of people are sort of doing things at the same time. Some of
Yeah.
us have
Re-entering
uni
life, basically.
gubbings to do. I mean, I'm entering, yeah.
Yeah.
But we hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to be sure to follow us on Spotify, SoundCloud. That's it. Don't
Yep.
forget to. I don't know. Is there a notification thing for Spotify?
Nah,
If there is,
No, we already
That's-
talked about this.
Have we
There isn't.
already?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
okay. Well, if
Yeah.
notify yourself, make an alarm every time a new episode comes out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, every time it's Friday, you already
Every
know
time
what
it's
time
Friday,
it is.
yeah. Why
It's not
Friday?
Fri- it's
Because
not
we've
gonna be
been
Friday for
recording
them.
on Wednesday before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be a Friday for them.
But
It's
you
not
don't
gonna be
even
a Friday
upload
for
on
them.
Wednesday.
Exactly.
You don't
I
even
don't,
upload on
I
Wednesday.
don't even know when we upload anymore. That's
yeah,
probably
it's
my
just
fault.
it's just uploaded
That's
when
my
it's
That's
fault,
done.
probably
actually.
it is your fault.
it
It's
is my
supposed to be
fault.
on Wednesday.
Well, to be fair,
Yeah,
we
it's
didn't
whatever.
film until like Wednesday last week, or not
Yeah.
actually the last time we did it.
The last time.
True. But yeah,
So,
But yeah, you
I'm
know,
still
if,
doing
Can
the
we-
intro. Piss off.
if you're
outro,
listening on
sorry.
SoundCloud, feel free to
I'm
drop
still
any
doing the outro.
suggestions or feedback. You know.
Give us topics.
Yeah, we're definitely
Uh,
not running dry.
yeah. We're definitely not running dry. Please give us topics.
Please
I have
give us
no idea how to
topics.
speak. We are robotic human beings. We are AI learning programs. We do not know how to formulate our own topics. We need
Yes.
other people's inputs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
but yeah. Bye
this
bye.
is bit-
We're gonna say but yeah
But
all
yeah,
the time.
But
But yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah.
well,
Shut
But
up!
yeah.
You
But
do
yeah.
the same thing. You do the same thing, mate.
I know.
We
But
all do
yeah.
the same thing. And then
Goodbye.
is Sean still alive? Just checking.
Can we
Why did you
please
say goodbye? I
Can we
was
please
trying
just
to
say the
good-
goodbyes?
I was
God,
trying to say
no.
goodbye, and you were
Damn
like,
it, Alex.
I want dibs on the
honestly,
last
mate,
goodbye.
I'm just gonna cut out your audio for like
Yeah,
last
just
5
cut him out.
minutes
Just
or
cut him out.
something. I'm gonna replace you with a droning voice.
Not
Or-
only
no, I'm
have
gonna
you
make your
expelled
voice
my kingdom,
incredibly
you're expelled from the
high-pitched.
ending.
Yeah, you can make me a freaking
I'll make you
what do
a,
you call it?
I don't know, I'll make you a young boy,
A young
a
boy.
young boy's
boy.
voice. But
Okay.
yeah, I
Well.
fucking said it again. I can't believe I said
If
it
you
again.
if you feel bothered to freaking edit that, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'd have time to edit the podcast if I didn't get fucking commissions from you, Alex. I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny if, Ronan, you edited a shot of Sean falling into the portal like Mario? Huh? Wouldn't that be funny, Ronan? How about waste 6 hours of your time doing that for you? Huh? How about
You said
that,
it took 3 hours. You said it took 3 hours.
Yeah, it took 6 hours of my mental health away.
But it was worth it. It's good practice.
No, it wasn't. I got 4 likes on Twitter for it. It was not worth
Do
it.
I not get a say in this?
But yeah. Fuck, I said it again. Anyways, I'll use that. Anyways.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Thus.
Thank you for watching. This has been episode 6 of Roughly a Quarter. We'll see you whenever we see you next week. Say bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Adios.
Bye. Adios, amigos.
Bye bye. Oh, that was a good one.